Welcome back to yet another movie synopsis by Mr. Recapper. Today we have brought you Conan, the Barbarian. You will love the fight between Conan, the vengeful barbarian, and the evil warlord, who massacred his whole tribe and kidnapped his love to seek a godly life. The film pre-credits depicts a narrator indicating the times when there were numerous kingdoms across the world, among which the dark realm of the Echelon was the one, where wizards and necromancers seek the power of resurrection, and thus they become the most powerful creature by sacrificing the pure blood. Echelon enslaved the civilized world, but guess what? Only the barbarian, the forefathers of our main character, survived the chaos. The barbarians killed the king of Echelon and shattered his magical mask, which is then divided among their tribes so that no one could reclaim it again, but a prophecy says that a man will reclaim the mask and rule the earth. One day after the dawn of the Hyborian Age, Corin trains the young to protect his tribe's future. Conversely, Conan, his son, was late. Corin puts eggs in everyone's mouth, and they have to race without breaking the egg. During their run, they confront some arboreals. Everyone returns except Conan, because he is determined to complete his training. Ascending to his terminus, arboreals corner him, but this little kid is too good to be defeated. He coldly kills and brings their heads in front of his father. When Conan is playing with his wooden sword at night, his father intervenes and decides to make a real one for him. What a classic father-son moment. After that, they battle each other, but Corin tells him he is not ready and leaves while Conan is mad. He observes an army marching towards his tribe. He runs and sees his tribe in the blink of destruction. Collar Zym, the warlord, collars Corin and demands the last piece of the mask that his forefathers had kept hidden from the world. Conan sneaks in and attacks Zym's men before he kills Corin. Although his attempt fails, Zym summons his daughter, Marike, to find the hidden piece of mask. Which she does, and they leave Conan with his father's chains underneath a jar full of lava. Conan tries to save his father, but Corin sacrifices his life for Conan to be saved. The scene changes to Conan fully grown up. He and his best friend, Artus, who also raised him after Corin's death, attack a slave caravan and save them. While cheering out with his new friends, he sees Elishon followed by the same person who served Collar Zym. Elishon sits silently beside Conan, but he starts hand wrestling to require their attention, and gets arrested. Conan sits like a king in front of the attendant in a dungeon full of men looking like corpses. After quite a talk, he grabs and terrorizes him enough to throw up his captain's information. He rushes towards the captain while Elisha is being tortured. The captain asks his identity, upon which Conan says that he is the one who had cut his nose. He puts his fingers in his nose. Oh, it must be hurtful. Conan then asks about Collar Zym. At first, the captain refuses, but when Conan puts an axe on his neck, he screams that Collar Zym is out, looking for a woman having the pure blood of Assyrians. Conan then puts the key in his mouth, shrugged until he swallowed it, and tells everyone that their freedom is in his stomach, and thus the captain is surrounded by slaves in the form of cannibals, and Conan leaves searching for Collar Zym. The scene changes to Shaper Monastery, where we are introduced to Facer and Tamara, the pure blood. Facer does future telling and, with a terrorized face, says that Tamara will be accompanied by a warrior who will take her to her birthplace. Conversely, Conan tells Artus about Collar Zym killing his father. Artus wants to accompany him on the conquest, but Conan refuses and leaves to avenge his father. Collar Zym arrives and starts terrorizing the Facer's temple. Facer tells Tamara to run, and thus the story gets into the main plot. But before we pursue the story, do not forget to subscribe because it really helps the channel. After a tormenting battle, Collar Zym wins, and his daughter begins searching for pure blood. After finding out that no one among the girls is pure, Zym, being enraged, kills Facer. Tamara has taken Zym's draft horses, and while she's running, Conan sees her and misperceives her with Collar Zym, and gets slapped, as expected. While he is still processing, Zym's men start chasing them. He starts killing everyone and hostages Remo, the very same man who had thrashed his father. He asks Tamara why Zym wants her, upon which she avoids his questions and rushes to leave. But at night it seems that Conan has confined her because he is the only one through which he can approach Zym. Conversely, Zym feels defeated after coming that much closer to achieving his goals. He wants to resurrect his wife so that she can make her almighty. Marike tells his father that he does not need to acquire the mask and revive his mother because she will soon discover Assyrian sorcery's secrets and help him achieve his goals. On which ZYM scolds him. Remo discloses Tamara's secrets that her blood is special because she's the last Assyrian race. After this, Conan sends a message by swinging Remo to ZYM's room. Marike smells the cloth and tells ZYM that it's Tamara's. Soon, ZYM arrives at Conan's location with a bag full of rewards, but after knowing that all he wants is to kill him, Marike summons an army of dust and clay, and there we get to see a fight full of action. After defeating Marike's magic, ZYM starts a fight. At first, they seem to be pretty equal until ZYM overpowers him. He narrowly escapes with Tamara's help by throwing fire on oil and jumping in the water. At Artus's ship, Conan is mad at himself for not avenging his father's murder, but Artus consoles him by saying he will definitely get another opportunity. He will because he is going after ZYM again, but he is going alone this time. He advises Artus to take care of Tamara. Before he would go, ZYM's men attack the ship, and Conan and Tamara grow pretty good chemistry during the battle. When Conan leaves to kill ZYM, Artus advises Tamara to spend some time with him before they go. When Tamara approaches him, they finally confess their love for each other. After a night, Tamara leaves without letting him know. While she's going back, she's abducted and brought to ZYM. When Conan observes that Tamara is kidnapped, he visits his friend Elazar in Argalan, the city of thieves seeking payback. They go to a dungeon, and Elazar, a thief, opens the door swiftly. At some point, weird creatures that look like snakes attack them. They enter the basement after passing the third gate, where Akin spots them. During a fight full of action between Conan, Akin, and the men while Elazar is in the cellar, the scenes depict why this movie is an action thriller hit. Conan hammered Akin and went after ZYM only to see his caravan taking away Tamara. He rushes towards them, while ZYM has chained Tamara on the other hand. He makes a cut on her chest to get her blood on the mask. After this, the mask becomes what we can call alive. He wears it and proudly maxims to the souls that he is their god now. Before we see his full potential, Conan attacks him, and while war is outset, Tamara falls to the hole which leads its way to a stream full of magma. Conan jumps to save her, but ZYM follows them, and there we get to see yet another fight between them while Tamara is screaming. Conan saves her at the crucial moment, she jumps and rushes away. Conan and ZYM are still fighting, but soon they fall too. Conversely, Marike smells Tamara, and during a fight, Marike overpowers her, but thanks to Conan, he cuts her hand and throws her off, which obviously kills her. After that, he goes to kill ZYM, and this time he learns that ZYM is fighting with Korin's sword in his hand. He snatches Korin's sword, and thus the real fight begins. He pretty much wounds him, and with his last blow, ZYM finds himself underneath a bulk rock falling on him. Wait. The movie isn't over. ZYM is alive, and he gets mad upon seeing his daughter dead. Conversely, Conan and Tamara are crossing the bridge, but she falls when the bridge collapses. ZYM approaches them and summons his wife, resurrecting in Tamara's body. Tamara advises Conan to let her go, but Conan doesn't, and instead, he breaks the bridge underneath ZYM, and he falls. The mask and his powers are gone with him too, and Tamara's soul is saved. In the end, Conan brings her to her birthplace and goes to his own. So, how did you like the film? Advise us of your interested movies in the comments section below,